The Trump administration is reportedly planning on stepping in as the uprising in Iran intensifies. Activists now say at least 116 people have died during protests challenging Iran's theocratic regime.
Madeline Rivera joins us live from Washington with the details. Hey, Maddie.
Hi, good morning. So it has been a bit difficult to identify casualties after the government cut off internet access. The death toll is climbing, though, yet the protests continue. More than 2,000 people have also been arrested. That's per the human rights activist news agency. President Trump has promised to intervene if the regime resorts to mass violence. Now, the Wall Street Journal reports administration officials have had preliminary conversations about how to carry out an attack if the U.S. does need to follow through. The outlet reporting per U.S. officials, the discussions include what sites might be targeted. One option being discussed is a large-scale aerial strike on multiple Iranian military targets, one of the officials said. Another official said there was no consensus on the course of action and no military equipment or personnel has been moved in preparation for a strike. Senator Lindsey Graham posting a message on X saying, in part, to the Iranian people, when President Trump says make Iran great again, it means the protesters in Iran must prevail over the Ayatollah. That is the clearest signal yet that he, President Trump, understands Iran will never be great with the Ayatollah and his henchmen in charge. There are demonstrations in other parts of the world to show solidarity with the protesters in Iran. One man scaled the balcony of Iran's embassy in London, you see it there, and tore down the Islamic Republic flag, replacing it with one from the Shah era. Iran, meantime, says they'll retaliate if the U.S. attacks, saying U.S. military bases, ships, and other assets in the region will be considered potential targets. Charlie, Rachel, and Griff.
All right, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie.
Much. What an incredible thing we were watching unfolding. And you know what's so unique about these protests is these are youngsters.
Yeah.
These are teenagers and 20-year-olds who have never known anything other than oppression in an Islamic state. And they are willing to fight for something that only their grandparents were able to tell them about the freedom that once existed in the country. And that is a remarkable thing.
You know, I've been trying to think what's different in this protest than other protests we've seen before in Iran that have been squelched. And I want to ask you, because I know you've been following this really closely, is it the internet and is it access and the ability to share images even to the world right now? I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, what's different, Rachel, it's such an important question. We saw something like this in 2009 when they stood up. And guess what? The guy behind the Resolute desk was named Barack Obama, and he did not stand with those protesters, and his administration did nothing to help them. And you know what's different is the current occupant of the White House, Donald Trump, says, this is a cover of the New York Post. It's so powerful. Got your back. And President Trump yesterday tweeting out this, or putting on Truth Social rather, Iran is looking at freedom, perhaps like never before. The USA stands ready to help. And the fact that we don't know exactly what may come, as Maddie was reporting, the Wall Street Journal saying that the administration is looking at possible large-scale strike options. But one thing is those protesters now are feeling support from this administration, and I think it's feeling it, and it's getting even bigger. One other technological difference is, of course, Starlink and Elon Musk.
That's right. That's what I was getting at. That's made a difference in other protests, even in Cuba, when you saw the uprising a few summers ago. They were begging Joe Biden to give them access to the internet. Fast forward to Venezuela, Elon Musk gave them Starlink, and they were able at least to be able to broadcast the oppression and not just the riots, but then the oppression that came after the protests.
And to give you an idea about how desperate the government in Iran is right now, they have not only killed the internet, but they've also killed actually landline telephone lines. So in an effort to squelch this, and in some places they've actually cut electricity to parts of Iran, to parts of cities, to silence these people. And of course, it's obviously not working. And Griff, your point about the difference between Barack Obama and Donald Trump is so important, because you know most of our global politics and all of our Middle East politics have been defined by the bad actors in Iran since 1979. And what is interesting about it is that Barack Obama, his whole new worldview was to hand control of the Middle East over to the mullahs of Iran, and it has emboldened them. And you probably added another 15 years to their reign because of that. And now we're seeing this, and it looks like it really did. There's something really does feel very different, and obviously, as we reported yesterday, much of it is based on economics and the collapse of the Iranian economy, which is driving some.